What's good, World Squad? Back at you with another video. On today's video, as you can see by the title, is talking about how to make money online, right? And these are just the basic questions that you need to ask yourself before you start an online business. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Travis, and through God's grace, I've been able to build a mid 6 figures. Hopefully we hit 7 figures this year, Amazon business, but this video is not specifically about Amazon. It's just about making money online in general, some basic questions that you need to ask yourself before you get started. Hey, let's slide right into it. Yes, sir. So the first question we need to ask ourselves before getting started is where we're going to source or locate our products. You may know what you want to sell, but you may not know how to find it at a profitable price. So we need to do some research to find out where we can get your product at a great price. So the first thing I would do, let's say, for example, if you want to sell phone cases, you can go over to a website like AliExpress.com. Type in phone cases. It's going to give you a whole list of suppliers there. Any supplier with like the gold emblem beside it, that's just their website's way of acknowledging that that is a trusted seller on the platform. So make sure they have the gold emblem behind them. Also, you can go to sellwho.com. I'm going to have all of these linked down in the description. Another one you can choose from is Worldwide Brands. Also, if you don't want to choose any of those and you want to look for a supplier in your area, you can just go to Google, type in phone cases with the word wholesaler or supplier behind it, and it's going to give you a list of results of different suppliers or wholesalers of phone cases. Of course, when you reach out to these companies, it's going to be specific things that you need to check for. What are those things? Number one, you need to read their reviews, right? You have to know, in this world of e-commerce, we have to know what you're about. We need to see some social proof that they actually do some great work. You don't want to get scammed. You know, it's 2022. So make sure somebody else has done business with them before and they have the receipts to prove that they are trusted and a verified supplier. Number two, you want to review their policies. Now, a lot of people just jump into making money online. They never really read the rules, the terms, the conditions. Reviewing the company's policies is extremely important because, say, for example, you were using a business model like drop shipping. Again, drop shipping, just for a quick reference, is whenever you connect with a supplier, right? You set up your platform or your store. You put the products for a higher price on your site. So let's say, for example, we had the phone cases for $100. I know that's extremely expensive, but just for the sake of this example, we're going to keep some round numbers. Let's say our supplier was charging us $50 for those cases, right? So we will put it on the website, you know, dress it up, make it look real nice. Whenever a customer purchases from us, they're going to put in their address where we need to send their phone case to. Then we would automatically set up a system, whether you're using an app or a VA. And this system is going to take their delivery address, plug it into your supplier, and they're going to ship it directly to your customer, right? You won't even see it. It goes directly. All you do is basically like a copy and paste. You pay the $50 to get it from your supplier. You pocket $50, right? And that's drop shipping method. Now, whenever you're doing that, I always recommend that you get the product first, right? So this is another thing whenever you're checking out a supplier. Before you put your brand on something, of course, you guys know on this channel, my brand is Generational Wealth Vibes. You don't want to make yourself look bad, right? We don't want to sell phone cases. As soon as you take them out of the plastic or the box, they're falling all apart. And that's just going to give us a bad rep, bad reviews, and it's going to lead to you going out of business. We want to sustain a cash flowing business over the test of time. So test out the product first before sending it out and putting it on your website. The next thing you need to look at is their shipping times, right? That's always a big thing when you're dealing with international suppliers. So if you could find something in your country, you guys know I'm here in the States. So if you could cut down on that shipping time, that's going to add a better customer experience, which is going to lead to more like, know, and trust of your brand. The next thing you want to do is understand the fees, right? A lot of people say online, hey, I'm making 6, 7, 8 figures a month, but that's gross numbers or that's sales numbers. In business, we know as entrepreneurs, the bottom line is what really counts, right? That's what you're netting, that's what you're bringing in. So it doesn't really matter if you're selling $1 million a year and you only keeping 10,000 of it, right? Now, don't get me wrong, 10,000, that's some great money, but We need to be focusing on the bottom line, not the gross numbers. So definitely understand the difference between gross. Make sure you calculate all your fees and look at what you're bringing in and calculate to see if it's really worth it. The next thing we always want to do is whenever we start a business, we need to begin with the end in mind, right? So what does that mean? We need to look for automation, right? So whenever you come into this business, if you don't see yourself working in this business for the long term, for the life of the business, let's go ahead and reverse engineer it by building the business, removing yourself, right? It's going to get a higher evaluation. If you look to sell it to somebody else and a different investor or a different company may come and buy you out. So go ahead and start the automation process at the beginning. Now you may not be able to afford the assistant or the software at the beginning, but we know that's our goal. We're going to reinvest, right, the money that we make out of the business to start building those key pieces so that we can automate the business early once we get our SOPs or our standard operating procedures into place. The last thing I always do is make sure I have multiple suppliers. Why is that? It's because if you have a hot selling product, let's say, for example, if you were using a Chinese company, and let's just say it's a holiday for the month, they saying, hey, Travis, we know your product is hot, but hey, we need a vacation. We're on our holiday. We can't ship out anything this month. That's fine. You need to have a backup for the backup, because if that happens to you and you still have hundreds of thousands of orders coming in, that's going to lead to a bad customer experience and it's going to negatively affect your brand. So we always need to have a backup supplier to be able to step in and fulfill these orders if something ever happens to the initial supplier. Also, I want to say before I move on, if you are using the drop shipping method, a popular strategy to use to find products is TikTok made me buy it, right? The hashtag TikTok made me buy. A lot of people in this drop shipping game, what they will do is go on TikTok with the hashtag TikTok made me buy, Instagram, and also on YouTube. I think it's a whole channel dedicated to TikTok made me buy it. They see the trendy, the latest products, the most popular products. Then they reverse engineer it and try to source these products and then start their own site like a Shopify, Wix, anything like that. So if you're in the drop shipping game, that should be a nugget for you. The next thing you need to ask yourself is, how are you going to market your products, right? So it's only really two ways to market your products. You can either do it organically or the paid route. Now, the paid route, you can either run the paid ad, paid partnerships, through affiliate deals, anything of that sort. But if you don't have a lot of money, I suggest going organically with it, right? How are you going to do that? I would build a social media page around my brand's phone cases. You can start posting funny memes. You can educate people on how your phone cases are different from everyone else's. You can also show people using your phone cases, anything of that sort. We want to build a page around it. We want to create some reels, anything. You can possibly partner with influencers through affiliate deals, get them to market it for you, get them to do a review, and then whenever you sell one of your $100 phone cases, you may give them 25-50% of that sale just for that free marketing. The next thing you want to figure out is where you're going to sell your products. You can always create like a Shopify site, a Wix site, a WooCommerce site, Gumroad, any of those platforms. You can always upload your products. But I do recommend, if you're new and you don't really have any influence or audience yet, I would advise you to go to an e-commerce platform that people already like, know, and trust. What are those? That's the Amazons, the Mercaris, the Etsy's, the Poshmarks. Go ahead and go where the people already are that's looking to spend their money. All you need to do is upload your products there, and it makes it a lot easier. You won't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on ad to drive people to your site. People already like, know, and trust the Amazons, the eBays of the world. So it makes it a lot easier. Then from there, once you start to get customers on those sites, you can then funnel them to your own personal websites. And then that way, the referral fee that these companies charge, you can keep more of that money and send it straight to Side Pocket National Bank. The next question would be, who are you going to sell it to? Now, I know this seems like a silly question. You like, Trav, man, I'm going to sell it to everybody. My product is great for everybody. But unfortunately, that is the incorrect answer. I do these consultations all the time, and they're like, hey, I just want to sell to everybody that wants to buy. But it's a lot better and more profitable to niche down to a target audience, right? So you want to have a specific avatar or a target customer that you're trying to reach. And why is this important? Because if you're targeting or running your ads in front of people who can't afford the $100 phone case, you're just going to be throwing money down the drain. We only need to be putting our products in front of people that can afford our products. So if it's a $100 phone case and you know the people that you're targeting don't have but an extra $20 at the end of the month, it's literally impossible for them to get that phone case, right? They're not going to save up for 5 months to get that phone case. I mean, they can, but it's highly unlikely that they would do that. So we need to focus on where the people that have an extra $5,000 a month so that it won't hurt them to spend $100 on that phone case. And if you ever want to charge more than $100 for the phone case, let's just say you want to charge $200, that's completely fine. That would just mean we would have to shift our target audience again and go to another audience that can afford a premium phone case. I would also ask myself, how often can people use your product, right? Is it a one and done? Can it be used multiple times? Is it a one day? Can they use it 2 weeks? Can they use it a month? Can they use it a year? And ask yourself, does it have multiple purposes? Now, why are these questions important? Because it's going to help you determine the value of your product, and then you can start to price your product accordingly to its value in the marketplace. The last question I always like to ask myself is, how does the person feel after they buy your product, right? And I know this may seem like a crazy question, like, what does it matter how they feel? But based on research, we know that people buy out of emotion. Then they justify it with logic later on down the line. So if your product can initiate or ignite a positive emotion, man, you might be cooking with grease, because it has a great probability to do well if you have the right distribution channels to get your product out in front of the world. Now, of course, these aren't all the questions you should be asking yourself before you start making money online or starting an online business. Like, where do you get your products? How do you market them? Who do you sell them to, and where do you sell them? In the future, if you guys want me to go deeper on this topic, make sure to hit a like, drop a comment down low if you guys enjoyed this talk. If you're new to the channel and you want to stay locked in with your boy, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Man, we got some great things coming. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Just remember, the only limitation is lack of information. Let's educate to elevate. Love y'all. See you on the next one.